Okay, good evening, guys. My name is Armando G. Hermojeno, and I am your trainee for this course, Computer Systems Servicing NC2. So, the Computer Systems Servicing NC2 is under the flagship program of Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, or TESDA. As I've told you before, TESDA is an agency of the government that regulates the technical courses, or that gave priority to the technical courses, gave technical vocational courses to the students. So this is great opportunity for you that you are one of the few that has been chosen by this institution to have or to pursue this scholarship program by the government. So as you can see, the Computer System Servicing NC2 is composed of basic, common, and core competency. So you are done with the basic competency and the common competency. For the past 15 days, you are being exposed to the activities in our learning management system. So our concept is blended learning. We do not have the full capacity to offer the program in full face-to-face because of the IATF resolution. So you have to bear with us that during the training, you need to access the LMS, answer questions or quizzes or exercises that is included in our LMS. And of course, after that, you need to what? You need to proceed with the core competency. And here we are now. Our for us, Computer System Servicing NC2 is or comprises of 280 hours. But the rest of the number of hours has been allocated to basic and common competency. And out of that, 160 hours is allocated to study the core competency. As you can see, core competency of Computer System Servicing NC2 is composed only of 4 competency. The first one is install and configure computer system. As you can see, here we have here one module, and this module is consists of 4 outcomes or learning outcomes. These are critical aspects of competency. The student must be able to identify, learn, and perform all these outcomes so that after he finish this outcome, learn outcome 1, 2, 3, and 4, during assessment or upon assessment, he or she may be able to install and configure computer system. So that in that case, he is competent in this unit of competency. So let's start with LO1. As you can see, assemble computer hardware. But in reality, in the assessment procedure or in our teaching methodology, once you assemble, of course, you need to disassemble. So during your assessment, your assessor will tell you to assemble and disassemble a computer hardware or a computer system. So as you can see, our physical computer or the hardwares is composed of the hardware things that you have seen outside. That is composed of monitor, your system unit, your keyboard, your mouse, if there is a printer, then or any attachment to your computer. But aside from that, your system unit is composed of several parts and peripherals that you need to what? You need to install in accordance with the standard. Because if you do not follow the correct standard, definitely you will have problem when it comes to the opening of the computer or accessing the BIOS if the installation process is not correct or not perfect. So you must be very cautious in the assembly of computer hardware. So what is inside the computer system? Actually, everything inside that computer system is important. Number one is the computer system consists of a motherboard. Without motherboard, your computer will not run. And almost all computers is or has a motherboard. Your printer, that is a small computer, it has also a motherboard. Our cell phone, it has a motherboard. So all the computers in the world has a motherboard because that is the main frame, the mobile, or that is the main frame of your computer. Everything is being instructed by the motherboard. Now inside the motherboard, excuse me, the most important part there is the CPU, or the Central Processing Unit. In our previous video, you were able to identify what is the CPU. So it is known before that, according to many, a CPU is the entire computer system unit, or the systems unit. That is not the CPU because, guys, the CPU is the smallest or the small chip that is attached to your motherboard. And of course, without CPU, that is the brain of your computer. Without CPU, even if you have your motherboard without CPU, therefore, your computer will not run. Because as I've said, every part inside your computer system is very important. What is inside your computer that is attached to your motherboard? Of course, you have there the ICs, you have there capacitors, and other slots, or mga DIM slots, DIMM slots. And of course, the slots for the powers, the slots for other peripherals, attachments, such as the front panels, and of course, the SATA cables. And the most important part there is, of course, aside from the CPU, is your RAM, or random access memory. So without memory, of course, your computer again will not possibly function. So all of these things, even if you have your monitor, even if you have keyboard, mouse, etc., but you do not have one of the things that is inside your computer system, it won't work. Or one of the important things that is inside there is faulty, it won't work. So, sir, is it true that everything inside your computer system is very important, so that one of them is gone or maybe faulty, the computer system won't work? Of course, the answer is not. Why? Sometimes, or the modern computer nowadays does not have the optical drives, does not have drives for CD or DVD. More often, computers rely on the universal serial bus port because that is the trend. That is now the trend. Of course, the mini floppy and micro floppy drive, I know some of you are no longer aware of this. That is a small, that is the CD is innovation of that. So if you have time, please make research on what is a floppy drive. And of course, what else? What is not that very important inside the attached inside your computer? Of course, the external hard drive. If you have your external drive or the movable drive and attached to it, that is not important anymore. Because the computer will have, of course, it should have its own hard disk drive attached to it. It should not be detached, otherwise your computer again will not function. So in other recordings, I will tell you what is the important or what are the functions of these parts and peripherals that is attached to your motherboard. I will discuss that extensively so that you will be able to identify and learn what are the different functions of those attachments. Now, in COC2, in Learning Outcomes number 2, you have here install operating system and drivers for peripherals devices. Next is install the computer application and software. And number 4, conduct testing and documentation. So as these recordings is intended for you to learn how to install operating system, drivers, and peripherals inside your computer system, the LO2. Because yung LO1, I have a video of that, and I do not have the materials here for me to demonstrate that. So during our face-to-face, I will show you, maybe all of us, one by one, will have to experience how to assemble and disassemble computer system with time limit. So for the first time, for the first timers, you can access your, or you can assemble and disassemble your computer system with, of course, longer hour or longer period. And then, if you try it 10 times or 20th times, actually, pagka hindi pa kayo natuto doon, I do not know. Maybe you have to get the target or you have to reach the target, which is 5 minutes, including the assembly and disassembly. Okay, so now we will proceed with installation of the operating system and drivers for peripheral devices. Actually, during your assessment, guys, the assessor may suggest that you forego first you perform first the installation of the operating system, while others is doing the assembly and disassembly. That is our technique before. When I was an assessor, and since the materials or the equipment for assemble and disassemble computer is limited, and there are so many students, because it was before that assessment of bulky students or assessees are allowed, but for now, no, there's no such thing as antedate or whatsoever. So we have here installation of the operating system. Sometimes your assessor will tell you, okay, you perform first the installation of the operating system, and then later on, you go back to the assembly and disassembly because that is a separate activity. But in some instances, the assessor will use the same unit. Will use the same unit for you to assemble and disassemble. That is that happens during our assessment as we are trainers, so we also do the same thing. So if you have, or if you disassemble or disassemble your unit, that is your loss. Kasi you will no longer proceed with COC1 because the computer that you are going to use is already faulty, or it's no longer running. Now, in the installation of the operating system and drivers for peripherals, I will give you a hint or advice on where to get the operating system, etc., etc. Microsoft, of course, we are going to use Windows 7 and Windows 2008 R2 as our server. Now, in the installation of the operating system, what are the materials, tools, and equipment that is needed? First, you have your flash disk. Assuming that we are in the face-to-face transaction or face-to-face learning, you must have the flash disk. And of course, the source of the operating system. Sometimes that is stored in a cloud system, or sometimes it is stored in your computer, in the hard drive of your computer, or in another flash drive, or in a CD or DVD. Before CD and DVD, now cloud. Why? It is most safer. It is safer than your CD or DVD because CD or DVD may be lost, may be destroyed, damaged, whatever. But the cloud, the cloud storage, will not simply vanish. You can actually recover that because Google provides you with 1 terabyte space, so that is a big thing. Okay, where did you get your operating system? The Windows 2008 R2 and Windows 2007. This operating system can be found in the Microsoft downloads. I, for one, I experienced to download operating system in the Microsoft itself. Microsoft downloads. So I have there, and I installed it in my desktop. And then, of course, the desktop or the Microsoft Corporation, that is a business. So the operating system is free. You can download it. But to legitimize your download, you need to provide your key or the installation keys, and that is provided by Windows. And that key is a unique number. Every laptop, every desktop, or whatsoever mini computers that uses Windows program or operating system must have a unique key coming from Microsoft. You need to purchase that. But in our case, Windows 7 is, from the word itself, Windows 7, maybe that is out in the market in the 2007 something. And of course, the Windows 2008 R2 is the second innovation of Windows 2008 server of the Microsoft. Okay, so now, assuming na you have already your source, I will make another video on how to find a source. But actually, I recommend Windows, because in Windows installation software, Microsoft Windows software, for the purpose of study lang naman kasi ito eh. We can download free. And that is pre-activated Windows, but for a certain period of time only. So after that, mawawala na siya or sisira na siya. Or you can use it offline. So pagka nag-online ka, madidetect yan ni Windows, delikado ang computer mo. So I suggest that for the purpose of study and for the purpose of legitimacy, you can download it from the Microsoft Corporation itself. Now, after your download, what is next? After your download, of course, you have to apply the downloads. Where did you place your download? Maybe you place it in the cloud. Maybe you have to place it in your computer. Or maybe you placed it in your flash drive. So more or less, Windows 2008 R2 is more or less 4 gigabytes. And Windows 2007 is also the same. Some application is more than 5 gigabytes because andun na lahat. Andun na yung starter, home, basic, and ultimate. So better if you download that a particular operating system, because you can choose. In my case, I choose the ultimate one because that catch everything. So after you finish your download, I will make up another or separate video of that. After you finish your download, especially if that comes from Microsoft Corporation, will surely looks like this. I will show to you the exact. Ayan. So as you can see here, I downloaded Windows 7. This is already an ISO file. So it's already an image file. As you can see, that is already an image file here. And of course, the Windows 2008 R2. So the type of the file you will see, that is this image. So as you can see here, I have here downloads for Chrome, Rufus, etc., etc. By the way, you need to download Rufus. Okay, so I will show you. The Rufus one is very simple. Just go to your Google and type Rufus download. Ayan. I have here, this one, Rufus, the official website download. You can download here your Rufus. Okay, so here, the last updated window Rufus is Rufus 3.12. Download it. You can just click it, kasi I have. So just click it, and then the information here will say the download is already complete. Click it and run and install. So just follow the instruction there. There's nothing to worry about installation of this this application, because this is a safe one. Okay, so after you download and install your Rufus one, the Rufus will surely goes like this one. Try to observe this one. So, okay, so kung okay na yan, you need to go back to how to download your if you have that already, open it. You have to open the Rufus one. So I have in my here, ito na yung aking application. So I will run it. Na-upload na kasi yan. Then yes. Ayan na siya. So I have here my ano ba ito? I have here my flash drive, consists of 16 gigabyte, and then I will show you how to make that image here. As you can see here, I will show you how that image should be transferred in your Rufus to become a bootable drive. Okay, so let's begin. So after you download your Rufus, this is the Outlook. Open it, then yes. Okay, so baka magtaka kayo kasi ang liit lang. Yes, that is true. Rufus will only occupy 1/4 of your screen. So as I've said, you have to select your device. In my case, the USB attached is there's only one USB attached, the 16 gigabyte one. So make sure that flash drive is free, because Rufus will format it. Only then you will find out that after the installation or after the application formatted it, you cannot recover the files, whatever it is. So better yet, make sure that that flash drive is intended only for this, for your operating system. So now, the device name is Windows 10 F or something, and of course here, boot selection. Of course, you have to select ISO image. FreeDOS, do not select that. Non-bootable, do not do that. Only the ISO image. And according to the instruction, please select. So you have now to locate where is that Windows 2008 R2 that you downloaded a while ago. By the way, when you download from Microsoft or any other sources, the Windows 2008 R2 and Windows 7, that is a total of almost 10 gigabyte, you must have a strong internet connection. Or kung data lang kayo, dapat malaki ang data nyo, because that is more or less 10 gigabytes. So as you can see, sa downloads, ako tinuro ni Rufus. But actually, that is already installed, or that is already moved here. So you can select here, or you can select the download. That is the same. So long as that the type of the file is this image, meaning to say, and then the logo goes like this, meaning to say that is the image that you need to put in your bootable. So the Rufus will scan whether or not your computer or the selected one is an ISO file. So according to him, yes, that's why pinasok niya yan dyan. Then, standard Windows installation, of course. Then, partition scheme. There are choices here, GPT and MBR. So in our case, you need to choose MBR. Okay? But do not use, so when MBR is chosen, as you can see kanina, there are two choices, GPT, UEFI, non-CSM. But you have to choose MBR, and that is automatically embedded there, choose in the target system, BIOS or UEFI CSM. So later on, I will explain to you. But in our case, we will use VirtualBox. So, ito hindi yan magagamit. Now, this is the volume label of your USB after the installation. You will see this. So you can actually replace this. So you can put here Windows 2008 R2. I do not know if this space is allowed, but maybe yes. So try it in our case. So file system, we have, so this is the volume label. No need to worry. If you do not want to change the label, it's okay. But for the purpose of identification, you can use that is Windows 7 or Windows 2008 R2. Then the file system, no other choices because you choose this BIOS, right? So NTFS. Meron pa kasi yan choices dito minsan yung FAT. And then cluster size, no need to change it. Then what is the status? Mamaya yan, makikita nyo. Then you click here, start. Once you click there, start, then sabi niya, warning, all data on the device. This is what I'm telling you guys. If you store something inside your flash drive, make sure that it is no longer important, or you back you copy it to other sources because Rufus will erase it. Then click here, and then here. So deleting partition, this may take a while, and then okay na siya. So once na makompleto yan, inspect your you have to inspect your USB or your flash disk, whether or not the entire image has been copied. Okay, so I do not want to cancel it. So sige na, ipagpatuloy na lang natin yan. So medyo mabagal kasi yan, but we can actually proceed with other things na gagawin natin. If your laptop or desktop is somewhat mabilis, so what is the next thing na dapat mong gawin? You need to download your VirtualBox. But in my case, I have already my VirtualBox. But I will tell you, or I will show to you where to download it. Simply, again, go to the Google and type VirtualBox download. The VirtualBox download is here. That is under the Oracle company. Here, so download VirtualBox. VirtualBox is a free application. As you can see, by downloading, you are agreed to the terms and conditions. So that is the right to set the terms and condition. So you have here VirtualBox 6.1.16 platform packages for Windows, for Xhost, OS X host, Linux, and Solaris. In our case, we can use, if you have Linux, then you can download it from Linux. But in my case, I have my Windows. So just click it, and then automatically, the same with the Rufus one, the instruction here, after the download, just click it and run. And guys, this is your, after the running of the VirtualBox, actually the VirtualBox can be placed in your desktop, but in my case, I remove it. So, I have here my two machines na. A while ago kasi nag-install na ako eh. So, as you can see, your VirtualBox goes like this. It goes like this. Your VirtualBox goes like this. Kapag first time mo pa lang yan, wala po yung mga yan. Wala po yung mga yan. So, maybe, sige, I will remove it para ma-demo ko sa inyo. Okay, so, for the first time na download mo si VirtualBox and you run it, the VirtualBox will goes like this. This is the interface of your VirtualBox. Very simple, guys. But remember this, your VirtualBox will not function or will not be usable if what? If your virtualization in your computer is not activated. There are laptop or desktop especially the Asus one. In my case, yes. This one is, the computer disable the hyper virtualization of any programs here. So therefore, I need to change it. But how on the earth you will be able to check it whether or not your computer support virtualization? Simply go to your command prompt. Type here CMD here in the search box near the start button or the Windows logo. So type CMD, that stands for command prompt. Click it and type system info. Remember this, guys, ha? No space. System info. That executable command or that exe. Press enter. The computer will read everything. And here, domain, workgroup, server, Arman, hotfix, etc., etc. Do not read it anymore kasi hindi pa natin gaanong kailangan yan. Yes, the DHCP, etc., etc., we need it. But for now, not yet. So, dito kayo ngayon sa my Hyper-V requirements. Sabi niya, VM monitor mode extension, yes. Naka-open siya. Virtualization enabled in firmware. Kapag naka-no yan, guys, then you have the problem. Okay? So, at least ako naka-yes. So, that is good. So, if your virtualization in the firmware is naka-no yan, all you need to do is, kung naka-yes yan, okay. So, wala kang problema. Pero kung guys, naka-no yan, as if naka-no, you cannot change it here immediately. You need to what? You need to shut down your computer and then upon resumption, press Del to access your BIOS. F2 or Del, or in some other case, in mga luma, F9, F8, F12, something like that. Try to read your manual, your BIOS manual, kung paano ma-access yung, motherboard manual, kung paano ma-access yung BIOS. So in my case, I press Del and then the BIOS will, pagka ginawa ko kasi yun, mawawala itong recordings natin. The BIOS will load. Saan kayo doon pupunta? Go to your advanced setting. Remember this, ha? If you have your ballpen, write it. Restart the computer. Press the reset button or the power button or the logo of the Windows and restart your computer. Upon resumption, before the logo of the Windows or before the boot system functions, going to Windows, press Del. Del, F2, or F12, or F9 in other computers. Depends. Try to read your MOBO manual. And the computer will direct you to your BIOS. Once you are there in your BIOS, but actually, modern computers nowadays will have its different appearances of their BIOS system. But in our case, if you have your old type computer, maraming papilian doon. Wala kayong ibang pupuntahan kundi look for the advanced menu. Then, click mo yan and click CPU configuration, and then look for Hyper-V. And nakalagay doon kung naka-disable yan. Of course, naka-disable yan kasi during your system the system information provides that your hyper-virtualization firmware is naka-no. So therefore, ang gagawin mo doon, i-enable mo siya. And then, okay na yan. Wala ka na ibang gagawin yan. Yan lang po. Kasi that is your purpose there. Why did you enter in your BIOS? So, after that, na-enable mo na siya, press F12. That is to save and exit. So, upon saving, upon exit, the computer will now direct to Windows, whatever it is your operating system. So, again, if you have your doubts kung pumasok ba yung ginawa mo, you can run again, go to your CMD, and then type systeminfo.exe. So, yan yun. Then, you will observe kapag ka nag-yes na yung hyper-virtualization, then okay na siya, guys. Then, that is the time na you can go here now. By the way, yung ini-install natin na Rufus kasi, hindi natin to magagamit. You can use this one, yung flash drive, kapag nag-face-to-face na tayo. But for now, we will leave it there. So, after the installation, titingnan natin kung pumasok talaga siya. And then, we will keep it. Okay? So, 78% pa lang siya. So, we will just keep it. Because we will be having this virtual machines or virtual box. We will use this. So, this is now the appearance of your virtual box. As you can see, empty pa lang siya. So, I deleted the 2 machines that I've created a while ago para for the purpose of what? For the purpose of showing you the right thing to do for you to have your virtual machines. Now, we will begin with the installation of Windows 2008 R2. All you need to do is go here, New. So, according here, create virtual machine, of course, a new virtual machine. Then you have to name your virtual machine. That is Windows 2008 R2. Okay, so kung R2 yan, so you have to rename it. Windows 2008 64-bit, Microsoft Windows, of course. Check this, baka meron dyan. So, Windows 2008 ka. Okay, next. So, the memory size. As you can see, the memory size of your computer, automatically the computer will allocate you 2048 of memory. Guys, this is actual. That's why, if the memory of your computer is only 4 GB, then half of that memory has been occupied by this virtual machine. So, where are you now? You can actually decrease the memory allocation for this program. But that is the suggested memory size of this machine. Then we have to follow it. You can increase it. If your memory is 16 gig, 34 gig, whatever, kung ano pang merong mas malaki doon, you can actually increase it here para mas mabilis siya. But in my case, dito na ako sa suggested. Then, press next. Create virtual machine hard disk. So, there are options here. There are actually 3 options. So, if you wish, you can add a virtual hard disk to the new machine. So, all you need to do is, you can actually create a virtual hard disk now or use existing virtual hard disk file. We do not have the existing virtual hard disk file, so we have to create a new one. So, create 32 gig, by the way, 32 gig yung na-consume. That's why, if your computer is medyo mababa na yung kanyang free space in the hard disk drive or SSD, therefore, magkakaroon tayo ng problema. Then, hard disk file type, VDI or virtual box disk image, virtual hard disk, virtual machine disk. Nothing to worry, kahit anong piliin nyo dito, wala namang gaanong problema. So, next lang yan. Then, storage on physical hard disk. A dynamically allocated hard disk file will only use space on your physical hard disk as it fills up to max, although it will not shrink again automatically when the space is freed. So, I suggest that you use dynamically allocated. Why? Yung 32 gig natin, kapag hindi mo nagamit naman yon, okay lang. So, if you free up ni computer yon. Pero kapag inalis mo na daw yon, hindi siya automatically may free up. Ayan, may information siya dito. So, I choose dynamically allocated. Then next lang ako. Ngayon dito, file location. Guys, remember this. Although dito meron na siyang nakalagay. But remember, you have to what? You have to inspect or you have to check whether or not the thing na nilagay dito ni VirtualBox is correct. How? Click here. Choose a location for new virtual hard disk drive. Okay, so Windows 2008 R2 saan daw? Saan niya ba yung ilalagay? Pwede naman dyan, di ba? Kasi sabi niya, VirtualBox machine, Windows 2008 R2. Kung ayaw mo dyan, you can choose another place. Then, create. Presto, meron ka na. So, nasaan yung file mo? Nandun sa may VirtualBox machine mismo. Okay, so general, ito na yung create mo. In general, you created Windows 2008 R2, 64-bit. The system, the base memory is 2048 megabytes. Floppy, optical hard disk drive. Then acceleration. So, this is the information, the summary of the information that you have created. Okay, so, what is next now? Is this ano na ba ang create mo? Yung machine pa lang ang na-create mo. All you need to do is, you have to configure it. Ano ang machine? Anong machine na sinasabi dyan? Pag sinabing na-create mo na yung machine, ang iniisip mo dyan, meron ka ng bagong computer. You have created or you have purchased a new computer. So all you need to do is, you need to put operating system for you to be able to use it. So all you need to do is, maybe you can double-click here or press the start here. So double-click. Ako kasi dino-double-click ko lang yan kasi naka-power off siya. So all you need to do is double-click it, then lalabas itong window na ito. Automatic sabi niya, please select a virtual optical disk file or a physical optical drive containing a disk start your new virtual machine. So ang sinasabi dito guys is the ISO file itself. So you have to locate it. Where? Kung wala yan dyan, kasi usually wala pa yan dyan, kasi bago pa lang kayo install, you need to press here, add, and then locate for the file kung saan mo nilagay. In my case, di ba kanina nasabi ko sa inyo, nilagay ko siya dito sa installer. So, click it, ayan, then open. But of course, meron na ako. So, hindi siya yung tipong kapag meron na doble-doble, magsasabi siya na replace. So, in this case, nilagay niya pa rin. So, dalawa na, di ba? So, ito nga, 2.95 GB lang eh. So, choose it. Huwag ito kasi Windows 7 yan. So, choose it and choose. Start. Okay, so the virtual machine will restart. As you can see, lakihan natin. As you can see, it is as if you have your own or you have a new computer and then you are formatting your computer. Diba walang kahirap-hirap, guys? Alisin mo na to. By the way, other VirtualBox machine, i-configure mo pa tong mouse mo. But in this case, okay na siya. O, ayan, nagagamit ko siya. So here, this is the OS or the operating system. Next mo lang siya. Of course, English. Wala na tayong bang pagpipilian dyan. Wala naman Pilipino yata dyan. Then, install now. Okay? So, remember guys, kung ang iba natatakot maglagay nito, you are in a virtual machine. Remember that. Virtual, meaning, inside the main operating system, you have your program, the VirtualBox, and you are doing these things. Huh? Remember that. Do not be afraid that your OS will be corrupted. Kasi ito guys, pag na-corrupt yung VirtualBox, that is the time na makukurap lang to. Or dinelete mo to, that is the time na mawawala to. Remember that. Do not be afraid of trying this activity because this is fun. You cannot, during your purchase of your computer or whatsoever, or your kapitbahay purchase a computer, you can actually volunteer to install this operating system to his computer. But of course, the legit one. I discourage you to use yung mga crack or not legit kasi nakakasira na ng computer yon ngayon. Okay, so here, inside my ISO file, the downloaded Windows 2008 R2 is composed of Windows 2008 R2 standard server core installation, full installation, but enterprise, as you can see. So, data center, whatsoever. In our case, we install the standard one. We do not have the capacity. Pwede mo install lahat yan, but only one. Siya lang. So, use R2 standard, full installation. Next, I accept. Then next, then custom advanced. Wala tayong i-upgrade custom advanced. Guys, kung ano yung ginagawa natin dito, this is exactly the same thing na gagawin mo during your face-to-face, during yung pagka may computer ka ng hawak-hawak, except doon sa sinasabi ko sa inyong BIOS. Because the BIOS here will not be accessed. Wala na tayo, alam nga namang accessin mo yung BIOS dito. Because the VirtualBox itself will provide you everything. So pagdating mo sa ganito, where do you want to install your Windows? Diba natatandaan ninyo, we just allocate 32 gigabytes dito sa ating virtual machine na ito. So, the machine detected 32 gigabytes of free space. Now, in your computer, once you are there, the center, you press here, drive option, and then you press here, new. This one will what? This one, the size of your hard disk drive, if that is 500 gigabyte, if the instruction of your assessor or your trainer divide it by 2, divide it by 3, or partition it with 1, the 2, 3, ganyan. So divide it equally. So in our case, maliit na lang siya, 32 gig na lang siya. So hindi na natin siya i-divide, guys, ha? But in your case, kapag ka nag-face-to-face na kayo, and since yung mga computer sa ating school, gamit na yon, at hanggang ngayon ay may mga laman pa talaga yon. So, makikita nyo na kaagad yan dito, partition 1, partition 2, partition 3. All you need to do is click here, dun sa driver option, and delete everything. So that the entire hard disk, magiging single na lang siyang ganito. And then that is the time that you click new, and then divide it equally according to the instruction. Kung 3, 4, it depends. So, yan yung mga partition mo. And then, what's next? Ini-next mo na lang yan. By the way, guys, we are familiar with hard disk, right? Because in our previous video, you were able to identify or watch what hard disk looks like. So, before, hard disk is malaking hard disk meron tayo before. Isang bahay, hard disk lang yun. Or ngayon, ang hard disk ngayon is maliit na siya. Diba? The hard disk drive before, meron pa siyang pin sa loob na umiikot. Ngayon, nagkaroon ng SSD. SSD is different from hard disk drive before kasi the hard disk drive before merong umiikot na parang pen. Kapag may hahanapin kang file, iikot din siya. Kapag may ginagawa ka, iikot din siya. So, nauso yung SSD. Wala na siyang ganon. Ngayon, nung bumili ako ng desktop, iba na naman. NVMe. So, as you can see, the innovation, paliit na ng paliit. I am also amused with, upon seeing my colleague in Taguig, I've seen his hard disk drive, or I've seen his system unit. It is a very small system unit. Looks like printer na nakahiga. Parang maliit na lang siyang printer. Yung Epson L120. But I asked him, what is that? Sabi niya, this is my system unit, sir. As you can see, the motherboard is there. Sabi ko, wow. Is that the new trend nowadays? Paliitan. It was before that the system unit, parang isang bahay yata yan. So, that is the trend now, guys. Later on, yung laptop, panipisan, di ba? Panipisan, paliitan. So, ngayon, yung yung system unit naman na paliitan na siya. Meron ngang system unit na naka-attach na rin sa monitor, so etc. etc. So, itong hard disk dito, I do not know kung anong ina-allocate dito ni VirtualBox, but I believe the system, yung pinag-installan ko mismo ng OS nito, which is the MBME. So, kumuha siya doon. Okay, so, apply mo lang siya, and to ensure na okay mo lang siya, then, ayan na siya. Dito mo na siya i-next. Meaning to say, guys, the operating system, ilalagay niya dito. Bakit automatic naglalagay siya ng ganyan-ganyan dyan si computer? Meron kasing mga flash memory na ilalagay dyan si computer, so kaya naglalagay siya ng reserve. Hindi nyo yan makikita, guys, inside your, kapag tinignan nyo yung this PC, tingnan nyo, bakit hindi eksaktong 40 o 32 gig yung. It is because, guys, merong mga system reserve yung ating hard disk, hard disk drive. Di ba, bumili ka 4 gig, bakit 3.9 lang? May reserve po siya. Okay, so kung sa assessment center, ang tawag doon is walkway or yung pathway. Para doon siya pagalaw-galaw, paikot-ikot. Yan yung reserve niya, guys. Okay, next. Mag-i-install na siya. So, it takes time bago matapos yung installation na yan. It depends. Kapag ang computer ninyo is medyo 2 gig lang yung memory or below that or 4 gig pero madami ng install, medyo matagal, guys. I am telling you that. So, please bear with me. Medyo matagal to. Okay, so as you can see, the installation process is already done. Okay, so it's done. As you can see, the first time that the Microsoft the Windows 2008 R2 is done installing, ito yung makikita ninyo. The user's password must be changed before logging in for the first time. Oh, this is my tip to you kasi it happens all the time. Your password here is one time, big time. You have to remember it. So, press OK, new password. Because you are the administrator, guys, you are the administrator, so you have to put here new password. Your password is consist of the alphanumeric something. At the Windows 2008 are to accept alphanumeric password. So in my case, I will put this big letter T, E, S, D, A, 01. Ano yun? Test the 01, malaking letter T. Then, confirm, exactly the same. Remember, guys, please remember, you do not have to what? You do not need to lose. If I were you, you have your scratch paper or you have your notebook. Kung makakalimutin kayo, write it down. Jot it down kasi once yung ma-forget mo yan, wala pong recovery yan. You cannot recover it anywhere. All you need to do is, kung talagang wala ka nang magagawa, hindi mo na maalala, reformat. Right? So, press that arrow and presto. Your desktop is being prepared by Windows 2008 R2. As you can see, ito na po yung lalabas dyan. So, product not activated because Windows, as I told you, gave this to me for free. Time zone, so Canada, you have to set the time. You have to set the time to where? Of course, change time zone ka. Automatically adjust. Saan ba tayo? Change date and time. Saan ba tayo? You have to change the time zone. Saan ba tayo nakalagay? But of course, hindi na yan. Dapat nasa Taipei tayo. Taipei. May current date and time, daylight saving. Okay, so saan ba tayo? +8 tayo eh. We can use Taipei. Okay? So, okay. And, wala na ba tayong ibang ano yun dyan? Kasi internet time yata ang sinusunod dyan. So, it's already 8:09. In the case of additional class, date and time, Monday, November 2, 2020. OMG. This is the time na mawawala siya. Okay, so okay mo na yan. Hayaan mo na muna yan. Then, you have here, local area connection, IPv4. Wala na muna tayong pakialam dyan. Hindi muna natin yan gagalawin. All you need to do, guys, is change the computer name. Because the computer name, as you can see, is ito. The computer name is Win something. Hindi mo maintindihan yan. So, therefore, you need to change it. Click the provide something and change. Then here, nakalagay workgroup. Later on, papalit yan dyan sa domain. Pero wag muna ngayon. Hindi mo muna natin iisipin yan. So, computer name, palitan mo yan, either server or client. Then, okay. So, the computer will ask you, do you want to shut it down? Yes. Because what? Magre-arrange siya ng kanyang sarili niya. Close. And then restart now. No. So, guys, your installation of the operating system is done. So, you already changed your computer name, etc., etc. So, that is a kind of accomplishment. What else? All you need to do is to check whether or not your cancel. Okay, ito yung sinasabi ko. The input. You have to use the keyboard. Keyboard. Okay, so, ayun. Test the 01. Oh, ito na kayo, guys, ang sinasabi ko. Kailangan tanda nyo yun. So, ayan. So, preparing your desktop. So, again, bumalik ulit tayo doon sa mismong Windows 2008 R2. So, you are done with your installation. You can see here, server, okay na siya. So, in your computer, kung kayo ay sa totoong computer na, you have to check the computer devices kung naka-install ba lahat. So, go to your device manager and then check whether everything is properly installed. For example, the network adapters. Dapat guys, naka-install yan. Otherwise, during your COC2, kamot ulo ka ngayon dyan. Right? So, yun po. Okay, so next, mag-install tayo ng Windows 2007. But of course, the process is the same. Ganun lang po siya. So, I will make another video for that para naman mapanood nyo ito ng bonggang-bongga. Okay, so thank you for watching. I hope magawa ninyo ito. You can download this. Walang restriction to. So, thank you very much guys.